everyone. Welcome back to the Closet Confession podcast. I'm your hostess, Maria, and I don't know how it's going to be tonight. We have a technical issue with the AC. Anyway, today's episode is going to be about my story of bartending. The first memory that I have about being interested in bartending was when I watched the Coyote Ugly, and yeah, I was super young. I didn't know any better, obviously. But it just seems so fun. Such an exciting job to have, like being on top of a bar dancing and serving drinks. Like, sign me up. Again, that was not like my dream. So it was just an idea, you know, silly little girl. But how did I get into bartending? So I was studying fashion. And I was full time in college. So I needed a job during the weekend. So actually, my first job in London was at a coffee place in a bowling alley called Hollywood Bowl. But honestly, there's nothing Hollywood about that bowl. It was just in North Finchley, super quiet, nothing crazy. But yeah, it's funny. Anyway, so I was working at the cafe, and my twin sister at the time was working as a lane server, but a lot of times she had to be behind the bar. So I didn't know anything about cocktails. I didn't know anything about alcohol, but I did envy the bartenders at that time. So every time they would need a cover or some help, I would close the cafe very, very fast, and then I'd go help out. And I had some really bad experiences, actually. So I was helping out one day, and we had lemons and limes to put in cocktails and beer, and there was a bunch of like lemons on the floor. I stepped on one of them, and it slipped, and yeah, I did the splits, completely like terrified and embarrassed. But yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna give up. So one of my supervisors, his name is James. Oh my God, I can't believe I remember his name. Anyways, ended up working from Hollywood Bowl to Tiger, which is a nightclub in Piccadilly Circus. So started working over there, went to see him, and then we're like, can you get us a job here? Mind you, I had no idea about cocktails, drinks. I knew like the basics. The job, me and my twin sister, we got a 3-day training, had to learn pretty much everything in 3 days, and then just push you behind the bar, just throw you during happy hour. And I'll never forget my first, because it was 2 for 1, my first order ever behind the bar, it was 2 mojitos. Yeah. And that's when I realized my hate towards mojitos. Okay. So yeah, I started working in one of the biggest clubs, very busy. The shifts would be 4 to 4. So they were really long. Now, at that time, I was like 19, 20. It didn't matter. And not only was I working the busiest days, Fridays and Saturdays, I would work also Monday, which was the student night. Yeah, we had to remove all the glassware to plastic because, they're animals. And I remember we're serving tequila shots and sambuca shots for like £2, let's say $2, and jugs of vodka Red Bull. Like, we wanted to kill those people. And in London, you can start drinking when you're 18. So they were super young. And at that time, I was super young too, but, yeah. So I've seen a lot of people getting completely hammered. I had people throwing up on my well. I have seen people literally passing out. The drinking culture in London is completely different to Greece, because I started going out when I was 14, but not to drink. It was more about like going out, dressing up, dancing on the bar. And that's why I could relate to the Coyote Ugly. So after that, I was still in college. I didn't think that I would carry on bartending after college. I was doing that for money, but it was such a great learning experience for me. Coming from somebody kind of shy, not as confident. When you work behind the bar, you have to remove all that. You really have to be outgoing, social, and come out of your shell, because otherwise you're not going to survive. It's impossible. Yeah, I carried on. Even after I graduated from college, through a competition in the second year, I got a paid internship in fashion. And honestly, I hated it. I was that office person 9 to 5 that I realized that was not my dream. And I like fashion, but I like the creative side. I don't like the business side at all. And there was not any communication with people. So when I was going to my internship, I was like, oh my God, I hate it. And I never felt like that when I was going to, for my bartending job. I graduated, and I got that fashion job and I quit. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? So I went back to bartending and I worked in like other venues in London, from Tiger, same company, to Jewel. I worked at Punk. I worked at one of my favorite ones in London was Record Club. So that was in Camden Town, so where Amy Winehouse is from. Her dad used to come and sing all the time. So very, very different crowd and a little bit more upscale. It was a members club. It was pretty a lot of fun. Bartending in London, that doesn't mean you're making money. No, absolutely not. Because they don't tip. It's not in the culture. In Greece, because I happened to bartend like for a month. When I was visiting, my buddy was opening a small nightclub and he wanted some help. So I ended up bartending there and I would come home with like cash. And I was not used to that because in London, you work for your hours, not your tips. So yeah, did that. Then I moved to LA and that's when the real money came, actually. And I would say that Americans, they're way nicer when they go out. Of course, you're gonna get like the crazy ones and they're really difficult customers, but overall, they're more fun, they're happier, more easygoing, and the money is good. Now, again, it's a job that you gonna have the good days, the bad days. There's busier seasons, there's slower seasons, but that's something that you have to deal with. And also the fact that, you have to work weekends if you want to make money and holidays, which for me wasn't a big deal because I was away from my family for so many years that I didn't really care about holidays. Like I'd rather work, Christmas than being alone, I guess, like, or just with my sister, my smaller circle. It didn't really matter to me. What I enjoy is that I never feel that I don't want to go to work. And I have the whole day to myself, to do this stuff, fitness, go to do my groceries, do like the day to myself. And that for me is such a blessing. I don't feel prisoner, I cannot relate with people that they cannot wait for the weekend. That's so sad, isn't it? And another thing that I like about bartending is that the interaction with people. I love people. Yeah, again, you can get some difficult customers, but I don't deal with a computer, or with phone calls. I deal with people and I love learning about people and interacting, and the energy that you can get in this kind of like customer bartender interaction is something you cannot get anywhere else because obviously they're there to have fun or, to talk about the problems or because I've said it before, we are bartenders, but we're also therapists, we are entertainers, we are mixologists, we are showmen and showwomen, I guess. So it's a job that I hate when people say it's not a real job. Like, what do you mean it's not a real job? You need to have skills. You need to have some kind of knowledge. You need to know your cocktails, your spirits, and you have to multitask. You deal with people. You promote your bar. So you're a brand ambassador. You're a salesperson. You are a therapist. You're a lot. Like you have a lot of hats. So I don't understand why people say it's not a real job. Like, excuse me, don't I clock in and clock out? Don't I have to come in at a certain time in a certain like outfit? Don't I have to follow the company's policies, or not just the company's policy, but also the ABC, health and safety? It's a lot. So yeah, if you're one of those people that say bartending is not a real job, I think you should reconsider that. Okay, I'm gonna fight you. Okay, now funny stories. Okay, so the craziest story I've had, it was Christmas Day. I was flying back from Greece and I was working at that nightclub, one of my favorite nightclubs in London called Amica. Super cool. So they had a Christmas function. We went straight from the airport to the club and they had an open tub. So they had already been drinking this company outing. So my first customer comes to the bar, completely wasted. I'm talking another level of wasted. And I have signed, is something that, health and safety policies, that if somebody is very intoxicated, that I'm not allowed to serve them. Otherwise, I can get fired. So I tell him, I'm sorry, I cannot serve you, but why don't you just like get a little bit of water, some air, and just come back? I'll be here. Yeah. She took my shaker, threw it on me, and called me the C word. Yeah. That was Christmas Day for me. The security guard took them, kicked him out, but it was an intense experience. And mind you, I was like 22 or 23 at the time. So that was aggressive. I don't think I had a lot of like other aggressive customers like him. That would be like the top of my list. But I've had a lot of stories like people being completely wasted, throwing on my well, or give me another shot. I was pour them water, and I'm like, it's on me, baby, don't worry. And they will be like, oh my God, thanks so much. Well, we do get a lot of like weird orders. The most common one is like, gonna get a Tito's and vodka. You're like, you might have to rethink what you just said, or they don't know their cocktails. Oh, can I get margarita with Tito's? You mean like vodka margarita? Is like something new that I should know of? What else? That surprised me, which I have the right answer to that. I make them tequila, pineapple, and a little bit of Saint Germain, which you can never go wrong with that. So if you're a bartender out there and somebody says surprise you, don't get upset. Just make them a tequila, pineapple, Saint Germain. If it's a guy, put it on the rocks. If it's a girl, put it in a martini glass. They are gonna love it. And if they want lemon drops, you can even do that. Say, hey, can I make you like, instead of lemon drop, a Mexican lemon drop? And trust me, I guess not lemon drop. It would be like a Mexican pineapple drop. That's a good name, right? What other funny stories? Yeah, so like weird orders. But I have met like super cool people in all these places that I worked, like London, LA, Miami. No, not many cool people. Yeah, not that many. A lot of drugs in Miami, unfortunately. So I've been asked a lot where they can get cocaine. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. So where they can get the, yeah. And I'm like, why would you think that I know? Why would you think that I would know where you can get that? Like, I'm a bartender. I'm not a dealer, right? But I guess because it's the nightlife, I worked a lot of like LGBTQ events, and I've seen a lot that I was not prepared of. I worked in festivals. That's really fun, especially here in LA. Oh my God. Amazing people, super fun, super polite. They were tipping very well, so I still can't complain. And my favorite spot would be one of the clubs in Miami, M2. That was fun until it went to shit. Yeah, my industry in Miami is very corrupted, unfortunately. It's the whole service charge. I've done a video about it. That we don't get it. It belongs to the house, so it's always a struggle what you're getting, what commission we're getting from that, what percentage. Anyways, but M2 was fun. It was one of my favorite places. It was very fast paced, very organized behind the bar. And I got to see my biggest like artists that I follow, like Nicky Jam. Shout out Nicky Jam. Lunai, how amazing. And then we had Resistance, which was more like house music. So amazing house music DJs. It was one of my favorite spots by far. Oh, I missed it so much. But here in LA, it would be the boat. So I work on two boats in Long Beach, and I love the people I work with. And it's always like a different party, a different event. It can be like a birthday, it can be wedding, yeah, proposal. I'm like, oh, nice. Remind me that I'm single. Anyways. Where else have I worked? I've also done the bottle service thing, but it's fun, but it's not my thing. Like my bar is my stage. So that's like my safe space. That's my comfort zone, comfort space. And it's funny because every time I would go to a bar as a guest, it feels weird. You know, I have this tendency to like clean the top of the bar or to get annoyed with customers that they don't know how to order their drinks. It's a different experience being a guest. And even though I'm a great bartender, I barely break any glasses. Is it just me, or is there anybody else that every time they go out, they drop their drinks? Like it's the first day at the bar, it's ridiculous. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I guess I'm so used to being behind the bar that when I'm at the other side, I don't know what to do with myself. So yeah, this is something that I've been doing for a few years now. And by a few, I mean 13, I guess. And it's something that I still enjoy. I don't know, because a lot of people's like, how long are you going to be doing that for? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm not complaining. So I don't know. But I enjoy it. I make really good money. I love the hours. I love the interaction with people. So if you find me another job that can give me all that and some free drinks on the clock, I'll sign up for it. But so far, I don't know. I'm super happy with what I do. It does give me the opportunity to do other stuff during the day like this. No other job would let me do that. I would have to come back at 5 and then go straight to the gym. And where would I do all this stuff? When? It's only like 24 hours a day. Yeah. I think I covered it. What do you guys think? Okay. Before I leave, please subscribe, comment, and like. I always forget to say that. I hate when people do that, but at least comment. This is confession and connection. So if you want to connect with me, because I want to connect with you, just give me a little comment. All right. Well, that's all for today. I hope the AC is not super loud. If it is, I'm going to have to do this whole thing again. I hope you guys enjoy the episode, and I'll see you at the next one. Mwah.